All right, everybody, welcome to Believe in Rams, presented by FanDuel. Erin Coscarelli with you, and my Super Bowl champion tackle Rob Havenstein back in the fold. First and foremost, how are you doing? I know it's been a very busy week for you
Oh yeah,
on that side of the country.
it's been good. We just got back from a nice late trip to Maryland. Surprised my mom with her 70th birthday party. So she's probably one of the tougher people to fool and actually throw a surprise on. So, but everything went well, went flawlessly, and she turned 70 on Wednesday, or turning 70 on Wednesday. So we got to celebrate a little early. Whole family flew in, surprised her. Everything went great, and we're back now, ready to roll. And got back at like 2 a.m. last night, so we are a couple cups of coffee deep, and we're rolling.
Wow, nice, nice.
Ready to
That's
go.
amazing. Wait, so your mom, you packed in your three girls,
Mhm.
whole family, and you surprised your mom. Was this like the whole family surprised her? This was like a surprise 70th for mom?
Yep,
Wow.
yep. So we did a family vacation on the eastern shore of Maryland the week before, and then on the weekend on Sunday, we flew in all of her family, our family. She's got friends all over. People came from Florida, from Arizona, from our high school friends from Michigan, obviously Maryland, all over the place. And so they showed up in bunches, knowing that my mom would make hers no matter what. And
Oh.
so it was good. I felt a little guilty because we had to kind of run around and grab the cake on Saturday and go to here. And I'm telling her I'm going to lunch with buddies I haven't seen in a while, and we're kind of leaving her alone. And she's like, "Oh, what the heck? You guys are leaving soon, and you're out doing seeing friends." And so, but it was all worth it. She understood there at the end. We were actually just trying to be sneaky and go grab the stuff without you knowing. So, yeah,
Oh,
she was over the moon, and I think it went well.
that's so. And do you have siblings?
Yep, got a twin brother and an older sister.
Okay. And how tall is the sister?
She's 6'2". My mom's historically 5'13". She never wanted to say she was 6'1", but she's definitely 6'1". My sister's 6'2", and my brother's just like quarter inch shorter than me. So always,
Wow. Okay. I mean, not surprised, of course. If
yeah,
Rob Havenstein is 6'8", I imagine there might be a couple other tall
oh
individuals
yeah,
in the Havenstein family. Okay. And dad, how tall's dad?
6'5". Probably well,
Okay.
if you ask him, maybe 6'6", but he's starting to bend forward a little bit.
Did dad play football or was it basketball or?
Yeah. He played a little bit of football in high school, a little bit of basketball in high school. And then my brother and sister actually played. My sister played basketball at Colgate University, and my brother played basketball at Longwood University over in Farmville, Virginia. So we all went D1. We're fortunate enough to have scholarships. So it was fun going to see games, and they'd come see mine, and it was whenever the schedules worked out. But did as much as we could, but it was a really fun time.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's so cool. Everybody's an athlete. Everybody, I
Mhm.
imagine it gets competitive on Thanksgiving to some
Slightly.
degree. Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Well,
We did-
I'm glad you surprised mom. I'm glad you made time for her. I just came back from a trip myself. I was in Cabo with this particular foundation, Stars and Stripes Foundation,
Fantastic.
and they raised over $5 million, I do want
Wow.
to say, to help kids in various different organizations, Miracles for Kids, Big Brother OC, Big Brothers Big Sisters OC, and I got to meet a lot of the kids that they were actually supporting, and got to even do my little mini mic interviews with them. It was a
Oh,
lot
that's
of fun.
fantastic.
It was a great group of people. So I apologize. My voice is maybe a little raspy today, but that doesn't mean we don't have a lot of news to get to. So we mentioned last time we spoke, training camp guys for the third year in a row. It will be at LMU, kicking off July 27th through August 6th. You, of course, can go. I imagine they're selling tickets on therams.com. I do think it's really cool. The fans do get some of those practices, some of
Mhm.
those training camps. Fans can come and get their, jersey signed by Puka, or maybe get to wave at Matthew Stafford. And it's always so cool to kind of get an up close personal experience for fans,
Mhm.
and the Rams do make it really special. There's like a fan zone.
Yep.
I've been covering training camp. This will be my third, and it's fun to integrate with the fans up close and personal. The kids love it. The families love being there. So go check it out. July 27th, August 6th. I mean, that's crazy. It's basically here. July 4th is this weekend.
Right.
And I don't know if I know you've been busy, and I know you're no longer in Los Angeles, but LeBron is leaving LA. My phone's been blowing up. The announcement, he's
Mhm.
officially entering free agency. I don't know how big of a basketball fan you are, but LeBron and the Lakers just seem to go hand in hand, and now he's no longer going to be in Los Angeles. It's going to be very interesting.
I know, I was shocked about that. I was shocked about that, and then I saw something that Draymond wasn't coming back to the Warriors, and, they're try to get room for maybe a big 4 coming in with Steph Curry and LeBron James, and, oh my goodness, that was just
Ah,
unreal. But yeah, I was shocked with the news. I kind of thought that was going to be kind of it's a Showtime Lakers. It's LeBron still doing it at the age of what, 40. So he's still out there doing it. But oh man, basketball is a different scene than football. That's for sure.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess, to me it's interesting. So I don't know exactly how many years LeBron's been playing professional basketball, but he could still do it, of course,
Mhm.
at a very competitive, successful rate. But you also think like he's done so much with the Lakers, retire with the Lakers. But as the story continues to develops, we'll get more details, I'm sure. But it is always interesting to have to finally make that decision to say, "Hey, I am done. I am officially done." Because when you are a competitor like yourself, like LeBron, like Stafford, like Brady, hanging it up is so hard to finally make that. And it's not just, and I know the thing that you said is the hardest for you is the camaraderie of the guys,
Mhm.
but I think also too it's the fact that it's like this is the only thing you guys know um as a profession, right? So it's like there's this routine that you guys are used to from such a young age,
Yep.
and then does it just like it just goes away, right?
Yeah, it just kind of ends. Obviously, LeBron's still going to have the fandom and the stardom, with whatever he's doing. He's obviously his name's everywhere, his shoes are everywhere, his clothes, are everywhere. But I think when anyone steps away from the game, and especially when you still feel like you have some in the tank, and so being that kind of ultimate competitor, where it's like, man, I'll miss the camaraderie, but man, the competition, how hard it is, how difficult it is, how many people just can't do it, can't stand up to it, and to know that's still inside of you, that's a hard thing to walk away from.
Yeah.
And so you could see it being a difficult decision for him, and especially with his son playing with the Lakers and everything. I thought that was just kind of the perfect little sunset to ride off into Malibu or wherever LeBron is, and kind of just enjoy seeing Bronny play, and I'm come back and have the biggest standing ovation anywhere to the crypto arena. Sorry, I almost called it no, crypto
Staples.
Staples. Yeah, I almost called it
Yeah.
Staples.
I know I do that
It'll
too.
forever be Staples to me. So
Yeah, same. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing you think about. You're like, when you're wrestling with that as a high level athlete, but you also as a fan think, what else is there to prove? What else
right.
is there to accomplish? I don't know that world because I have never played professional sports at any level for a long period of time. But I
Mhm.
imagine it's like once a competitor, always a competitor.
Right.
And, I guess you got to figure out another in fact, actually on this Cabo trip recently, T.O. was there,
Sure.
Terrell Owens. And he's like really big into pickleball. And it's so funny
Oh
because
yeah.
he was hosting like this pickleball tournament. And I asked him, I said, "Oh, I did not go to that. I had a different sort of activation I had to do." And I said to him, Did you win? Did you win the tournament?" And he said, I came in second.
Yep.
And he was, like, so annoyed he came in second, and I'm
Mhm.
like, "Wait, I think
Absolutely.
that's good." No, it's like, "No, you wanna win," you know? So, it's very funny. I noticed his response was he was unhappy he
Oh,
came
yeah.
in second. He wasn't gonna let anybody else win and, competitive through and through. So, anyway, so LeBron leaving
Mhm.
LA, but let's get to the other LA team. So, the Rams announcing 2 joint practices, Rob. Um, Holding joint practice with the Cowboys August 11th and the Saints August 20th, um, according to the NFL. And both practices will be in LA. The Rams will be the home team. I remember those were both teams, although they weren't supposed to play the Saints last year. They kind of had to. I think there were injuries to the Chargers. So they ended up not playing the Chargers and kind of figured out a way to get the Saints because the Saints kind of practice over here on this side.
Yep.
It's hot in New Orleans. So when you have those joint practices, are they how do you perceive them as a player? Do you like them? What do you guys, what's it like for you guys actually doing the practice?
Yeah, it's kinda up and down. It really depends on, I guess, the 2 teams' mindsets of, like, are we going in to get good work? Are we really trying to just go practice? Or is it gonna be, a toughness thing? Of be like, all right, that's when you see all the practice can't get off the ground because there's skirmishes and scrums, and it's like you're not playing football, and nobody would really do that in a game because then you're talking about suspensions. But at the end of the day, it still is practice, and that's kind of one of the things that annoyed me with those is even though it's practice, like people were taking a lot of liberties on especially maybe an offensive guy, a lot of liberties on defense and maybe doing some unsound things that you can try out in practice, but maybe they wouldn't quite do in a game just in case they guessed wrong. And that was more of just how I played the game anyways because I knew where you were supposed to be most of the time, and so I was just where you were supposed to be. And then if you weren't there, it was like, oh crap, now I got to go make this up. But so sometimes they take a lot of liberties in that, and then if the 2 teams are geared up and kind of mentally being like, listen, we're going to go get some good work. We're going to practice the right way. We're going to compete, and the fact that you don't have to hit your own guys anymore is fun. You've been practicing against the same defense the whole training camp. So it's good to go see hopefully another system, another style of defense, get a little bit more experience under your belt for this particular year and for your offense and what you're bringing to the season. But if it's not, if both teams are not in the same mindset of let's get some good work in, then it just turns into a who's tougher, a big pissing match basically, and then you go, then you see all the big scrums and everything like that. But man, I've had some fun, some fun stories with those, and obviously, I think one more than the other is a guy we've been talking about over the last couple episodes, and Mr. Aaron Donald, and I can still see the snapshot of Aaron dual wielding 2 helmets at the Bengals practice. And I remember specifically before that, things were getting a little chippy and, maybe not doing some things that Aaron took kindly to about, how practice was going. And he goes, y'all ready for practice to be over? And we're like, yeah, sure. And he goes, all right, next period. Sure enough, look over there. We run a play. Everyone turns around. The big skirmish is going, and Aaron's got 2 helmets in his hand, and he's ready to go to work and protect his guys and everything like that. So that was probably one of the more fun stories of a joint practice we ever had, just because they had the screenshot or the picture of it, and it's just so iconic.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald to us, because I see the media side of him, uh, you know, polite,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
considerate, class act. And so, and a leader for you guys on the defense. And so when he's getting, spicy
Oh, yeah.
against another team, you're like, okay. And usually it seems like it happens day 2, day 3, not day 1. Everybody's sort of on their P's and Q's. But
Yep.
then as the wheels turn against the Bengals, do you remember what year that was? You've had a
23, maybe 23,
Oh,
20,
23. Yeah.
23, 24, something like that. It was after it was definitely after the 21 season where we beat him in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So they're maybe
Yeah.
holding on to something a little bit there. Aaron Donald was not going to let that happen.
No,
That's
there's if
hysterical.
if there's one thing I know about Aaron, he is, as he's polite and works hard, and he works hard in silence. He's not a huge talker, but
Yeah.
respect is a big thing to him. And so if you're being disrespectful and you're on a field playing football against Aaron Donald, where you can be as violent as possible legally, then and then especially in practice where there really is no rules,
Yeah.
he's gonna let you know about it in his way, and he's gonna give you a chance, and then he's gonna take matters into his own hands, and that's when the beast comes out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I imagine they go, all right, duly noted. Thank you so much. We'll not make that mistake again.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I learned real early with Aaron because I saw him rip the face mask off the same guy twice in practice. That was back in like 2016, 2017. No, I guess that was
wow.
in 2016. Yeah, clean off face mask, helmet still attached to the guy's head, face mask clean off, and those are some serious screws right here. Like bolts gone. It's just the amount of strength that takes, Aaron. I mean, it still blows my mind. That's my favorite story to tell about Aaron. It was the same guy twice. He clearly didn't learn the first time, and like, oh, yeah, just and it wasn't like he like grabbed it and popped it. I mean, it was grab and straight back. The whole
he
thing,
did it to he did it twice to the same guy.
twice the same guy. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Unbelievable. The amount of strength
Wow.
that takes is unreal. You looked at it and you were like, listen, I'm not dealing with this. Like if we ever get into a little thing, but Aaron, you got it, bro. Like this ain't
Yeah.
worth it. I'm not
Exactly.
gonna have you, beat me with
Yeah.
my own helmet or parts of my own helmet.
Yeah.
So my,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
bad, whatever I did, I apologize. Let's get back to practice.
Wow. I mean, and you're a massive man, and
Oh,
that
sure.
that reverence for Aaron Donald is pretty
Hmm.
incredible after you see a couple of things like that. So mad respect to Aaron Donald. No one can do it like AD. We don't have any news about his return because we've been kind of covering it already.
Hmm.
It's just continuing to sort of cycle through the news. I feel like until it becomes official, we can just continue to speculate
Right.
and hope, but until more news that's more concrete emerges, we'll continue our Aaron Donald watch. In the meantime, just don't disrespect him. That's all
Don't
he
do it.
cares about.
Just don't do it,
Just don't
Aaron.
just don't do it. Just you might lose your head. You might.
Hmm.
Speaking of joint practices, and this is an interesting one. Our producer actually brought it up because it's a slower time. It's slower. It's slower. It's off
Hmm.
season. Guys are on vacation. We'll talk about McVay's recent vacation in a moment. But I think this is a good question because when it's off season, obviously I was at OTAs. It's voluntary. It's voluntary. So how do guys stay in off season shape? I mean, like you don't have to go and work out. I suppose it's on you, but I imagine they are, right?
Yeah, no, it is on you, and if you want to have a good year next year, you are working out. I know this time is always a little bit more mentally, I don't want to say like stimulating, but it's more mentally anxious because the next thing you have up is not OTAs. The next thing you have up is training camp and then the regular season. So it's like, all right, when you start training, it's hey, you're going. If you need a week or you have a little trip planned or something like that, get it get it in, get it out of the way early. Make sure you're still
Mhm.
up and walking around. If you can find a gym, great, just to kind of keep the wheels turning. But then especially for me, I mean, it was go. You had a 5 week training cycle to go ahead and get as strong and as fast as possible, as healthy as possible, feel as good as possible, because you knew once you hit training camp, day one of training camp is the best you're going to feel for the next 6 months. Like that's it. You're not going to feel better than what you do on that day one or when you walk into training camp. So you have to train accordingly. And that's getting your body ready to handle the stresses of a training camp, handle the stresses of, a 17, hopefully plus game season, three preseason games and all that. So there's a lot that goes on that your body needs to be ready for. And so you need to train accordingly. You need to run the guy, especially with the skill guys, they need to hit high speed yards. I just saw Christian McCaffrey talking about, tapping into kind of that real gas at your top end, whatever it is. Like you need to physically get out there and hit those numbers. It's not just something that you can just not do for 5 weeks and expect that it's still there. Like this is a levels bar where it's like it goes up in OTAs because you're hitting all these numbers and you're out there if you're doing OTAs, and then if you don't do anything, it starts coming back and back and back. And so you need to make sure that thing's gassed all the way up. So when it's day one of training camp, you're expected to be in the best physical shape that you can possibly be. So get to a gym. If you're on vacation, find somewhere. I found a powerlifting gym in, I can't even tell where North Carolina was, but talk to the owner. Hey, can I come in and get a week pass? Sure, no problem. Here's my money. Boom, I'll be in, do my stuff, and I'll be out. So it's definitely all systems go right now, knowing that the next thing you have is the real deal.
That's crazy. And training camp, why is it so strenuous? Because you're not actually really
Hmm.
hitting each other, or are you?
Oh yeah, no. Training camp, you're going. There is an onboarding process for at least in Sean's teams where it'll be no pads for a while, but then it's the first day of training camp, so people are all fired up, and maybe it's a little more full contact than what people want, or they take it too literally and they want a little more contact, but they want to save the big contacts for when there are pads, and that comes usually day 3, day 4, day 5, depending on whatever implementation of Reggie Scott and a Sean McVay had kind of come together. It kind of set the plan to peak at the right time, which is week 1 of
Mhm.
the season. Um, but yeah.
So then what goes into training camp? Because
Oh,
what does that day to day sort of look like for
yeah.
you guys?
So the biggest thing with training camp, sorry, I kind of passed on this earlier, was I say it's kind of the more mental thing because training camp obviously comes with cuts. So that's your big audition, right? And so if you're a bubble guy or you're an older guy, do you still have it? Or you're a younger guy trying to make the team? It's like a lot of people say you can't make the team in OTAs, and it's more learning about the culture, the playbook, and everything. Like you're not going to get out there and just really wow somebody when you can't have pads on. And you're not playing real football. Everyone always calls it the underwear Olympics, and so it's not real football, but you don't have real pads on. But training camp, you can have real pads on. You can play real football. You can go to joint practices and you can do pretty much everything that you want to do in a football game, besides maybe live tackling and cutting. That's the two things. Tackling, obviously, a huge thing, and that's more of a preseason games situation. But there's the mental side of knowing that you're going to be there pretty much all day. You have meetings, you have walkthroughs, all lunches are in the same cafeteria pretty much. And then you have practice and you have film study and more meetings than you could ever know what to do with. And sometimes, you don't have stuff to watch and you're just watching stuff anyways, or you're installing a play that maybe you don't need till week 13. And so it's just football 24/7. And you go back to if your team goes away for dorms, which the Rams have done, like you said, for the last couple of years at LMU, you go back to a dorm. It's not your bed. It's not your pillow. You got maybe a snorer in the room next door. Do you have your white noise? Is the guy you're with messy? Is he clean? Is he loud? Whatever it is, it's a different situation than you going home or you going to your hotel room, depending on, I guess, situation. Because the Saints are over in Orange County, where we used to stay in the Via, and so you're in your own hotel room, unless you're probably a young guy and maybe you're bunked up with somebody else, which case that stinks. But older guys probably have their own rooms, but still, you're in a hotel room. You're not home. You're not seeing your family, your dogs, your cat, your goldfish, whatever it is, and so it's just kind of the mental side of football, knowing that it's 24/7 and you are auditioning for a job.
Yeah. It sounds like boot camp a little bit.
A little bit, it's just way less intense. Obviously, boot camp is going to do some pretty serious things. At the end of the day, we're still playing a game, but
Yeah.
in terms of the regiment and your day laid out, it's got a similar feel for sure.
Well, it's you guys are prepping for your version of a battle
Mhm.
and putting you through some uncomfortable moments, like you said, it's not your play, it's not your house, it's not your bed. The Rams are going to have that all season long. There is nothing about this season that is very routine or structured because they go to Melbourne and then that's kicking things up. And of course, we talked about they have the second most air miles as they did last year. So adapting to jet lag, being on the road, and then the I mean, they have 7 primetime games. So they
Right.
have so many different things they need to adapt to. And I'm sure that's probably why McVay always says a good callus,
Mhm.
because if you can handle good stress, you can handle it in moments in the game,
Right.
obviously. So then from what it starts at what time and the day ends at what time?
Uh, gosh. Um, Different for some teams. Some teams, breakfast around 7, 7:30. Some teams practice early. Sean has been a big believer in kind of practicing later. I love Sean. I personally always hated that, especially a practice later in the day. I want to say, especially when we kicked off the 22 season or something like that, and our first game was later. Like practice didn't start till like 4 p.m. So you got the whole day. You got your lifts, your meetings, your walkthroughs. So you're doing all these like things where you're just kind of up and on your feet, and then just by 4 p.m. you need to be like primed, ready to go. It's like, man, I need 3 naps and 2 cups of coffee for this.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Yeah.
I'd rather get up and have some breakfast, quick little meetings, and get the practice out of the not out of the way, but get it up and kind of get it done early, just because that does take some of the
Yes.
mental stress off for that day. And so that's been my personal opinion. So it'll be interesting to see what the schedule is this year. And then once the guys get it, I'm going to be texting everyone and be like, all right, when's practice? Is it at
Yeah.
5 p.m. or whatever Melbourne time it is? Like, do you have to
Oh,
practice
yeah.
at 10 p.m. under the nights, or do you practice at 1 a.m.? You sleep during the day, or just to get on sleep schedule, especially when we talked about with Reggie Scott. So that would
Yeah.
be that would be kind of fun to kind of see when practice is actually is. And then, it's Southern California in August, it's nice, but it's not cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was
It's
actually one of the funnier things when we practiced against the Saints last year. It was like slightly muggy, and so in California, it's pretty dry, and so you don't get a lot of humidity. So we went down there, and everyone's, oh my gosh, it's so hot, and all the Saints guys were out there being like, "You guys think this is humid? Like
yeah, yeah.
this is this is vacation. This is a breeze. Like I'm like people wearing tights. I'm cold right now. Like the level of humidity down there is different." So that was kind of a funny little thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And when that was why the Rams got a lot of flack ahead of their Chicago playoff game, because it's like you guys, not you
Hmm.
per se, but just Rams players, we
Oh yeah.
have it so easy. We live in California where like the air is just consistently dry. It's 75,
Right.
but if it dips below like a 65, I'm outside with like a sweatshirt on.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
you get up and you're driving to the facility in the morning, you see parkas, you see winter hats and boots, you see Uggs everywhere, and you're looking at them like, I mean, I might have to put on a little sweatshirt just for a little bit of comfort, but I'm still shorts and sandals on the bottom, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
rarely wore pants out there.
Yeah. I've been dying to ask you this, and I know we need to wrap soon. I love how we managed to figure out off season, still somehow very interesting when you're talking to Rob Havenstein about all things Rams. I've been dying to know, before you retired, what did you eat in a day? So, if correct me if I'm wrong, Rob Havenstein, Super Bowl winning tackle for the Rams, 11 seasons he played the game, is a very large and
Mhm.
imposing man. Very nice to media, but he is very imposing. So, your playing weight, you were 322. Is that what were you
3
around?
yeah, so in my earlier years, it was probably around 330, and then as I got a little older and a little smarter, I, fluctuated from, like, 317 to, like, 325.
Okay. So then your fighting weight 325, 317. What did you do to eat? Like how much did you eat in a day? What
You
was
know
a typical day for you?
Yeah, you know what? I was a little bit, I don't wanna say a unicorn because I still ate a lot because I was still a big guy, and maybe I was just, putting that out of my head, but you hear about some of these NFL diets where it's like, TJ Watt says he's eating 5,000 calories a day. He's eating two PB&Js at 9 o'clock at night and stuff like that to like maintain muscle and just size. Because of my past and the fact that I came down from 380 in college, what? Oh yeah, I thought I told that story. Oh, that was yeah. No, I was way bigger than what I played at now, and so I was super big in
Wow.
coming out of
380.
380 coming out of high
Yeah,
school.
you buried the lead on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was my first weigh-in at Wisconsin, and I was 380. I thought I was 330, but the scale I was using back home in Maryland was broken. So when I stepped on, I thought somebody like had their foot on it, and it was just me up there standing alone on that thing. I was like, "Ooh, there's an extra 50 pounds I did not know was there." So it's been a slow crawl off the mountain from there. Luckily, I never saw 400. I'm sure I was at some point, but I never saw it, so it never happened. You can't prove it. And yeah, so I was always coming down. So in terms of like trying to keep like, hey, I have to eat 4,500 calories or 4,000 calories or something like that. But that wasn't as crazy. But like my last couple of years, I'd try to start breakfast off with some sort of turkey sausage and try to get a better protein source with egg whites, maybe a couple little eggs in there for just kind of flavor and stuff like that. Shoot, I brought my own seasoning in for the egg whites there when I was on IR this past year, knowing that I just didn't need the calories that I was putting out just due to my lack of not practicing, and so I still ate probably a little bit more than the average person just because of my size, but I've always been down a little bit from some of these. I mean, some of the meals that these guys, like especially some of these linemen, have to eat are unreal. I mean, you're talking rice. It's rice and eggs with a bunch of sausage and bacon and fruit and all that. Just trying to get calories in, and then there's rice for dinner and rice for lunch, and packing this stuff on, and I'm looking at it like, God, that doesn't even look appetizing right now. And, they got to go eat 3 cheeseburgers or something like that, and they still end up just, losing a pound. And I'm like, you have to do all that just to maintain 280, 285, 290. It's like, gosh, that's going to be super, super light for me. So I never really had a problem trying to keep the weight up. So my diet was never crazy big. It was probably just more me saying a little bit of effort and having a couple too many slices of pizza or a little bit too much sushi because the sushi out there was fantastic.
Yeah. Well, so then how much do you weigh now?
I was 286 this morning, so after almost
Wow.
almost a week of vacation, I'm up 4 pounds, which is not bad for my standards. So I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, I left vacation at 282, and then I'm just trying to get down. I've spent
Wow.
spent basically my whole life over 300 pounds, so there's no need to be 300 pounds anymore. So we're cutting calories and moving, and trying to stay active and worked out, and try to do what some of these other offensive linemen have done when they retire and just get shredded and skinny and see how that feels.
That's amazing. So, but when you were playing, you ate 4,500 calories. Is that
No,
right?
no. I probably tried. I never really counted when I played. Counting calories was more of me trying to lose weight after I retired. I just knew like portion size of like what was gonna make me gain weight and what was not gonna make me gain weight. I could look at something and be like, if I eat all that, I'm gonna put on 3 pounds. Sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes I wouldn't, but in terms of actual calorie intake, I don't know what I was at. It was probably around 3,300, 3,500, something like that, I assume, just because
Yeah.
of the maintaining aspect and where my weight was. Just doing some math there. So
Yeah. And also offensive linemen, obviously notoriously big, but man, they have to have stamina,
mhm,
endurance, like you guys are just, you're in every single play, ideally, right? If the
right.
offense is on the field. So, um, Wow. Okay. Well, that is impressive and not something I thought I was going to learn on a random Tuesday here on Believe in Rams presented by FanDuel. I mean, we had so many more things to talk about, but I love that we just, I mean, we go down a rabbit hole of just talking about Rams and things that are happening in Los Angeles or on vacation or in the locker room.
That's
So,
right.
yeah. Well, I'll let you get back to it. I know you're still kind of trying to get settled over there in Wisconsin,
Mhm.
Rob Havenstein. We so appreciate your insight and getting to have you this season. The Rams are. It's going to be an interesting ride. So buckle up. All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap. I'm Erin Coscarelli. This episode of Believe in Rams presented by FanDuel. Go subscribe, review. We're reading your comments on YouTube. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Until then, we'll see you guys soon. Thank you.